Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, David.
That's great. Guys, the conversation just before we went live was
Are you ready?
amazing.
No.
We're going anyway. Let's do this. I guess I could move the mic out of the
I can't
camera
hear
there.
David. That's so sad.
You can't hear me? That's an
I
issue.
could hear David. I no longer can. So hopefully you can hear me.
I can. Hold on. I can fix this, but it's going to require
Other than
this.
that, I don't know if it's working.
It's working all right. Hold on. Let's see.
I have no idea if it's working.
It's working. I don't know why you can't hear me. 1 second, folks. We may boop 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 ba-doo Sunday morning stuff. What?
If you can hear me.
I know he can't hear me though, Dom. That's the issue. Pick up your Skype. Pick up your Skype. Pick up your Skype. You did it. Hello.
Hello.
I just gotta fix something. 1 second.
Okay, because
I got him back. Don't worry, guys.
I was never gone. I just couldn't hear you.
We're
I can see you.
1 sec. I think we had this before actually. Sorry, everybody. I'm sneaking them to an audio I won't care about. I think that'll do. Say something.
Something.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, should I mute my?
I don't
Hello?
know.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but that's because I have you on Skype.
Except I muted Skype.
Okay.
So you shouldn't be able to hear me.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. I hear myself through Greg's feedback, so this will get weird for me, but I'll concentrate. I can do this.
Okay, well, I'm going to hang up Skype and see if it still works.
I don't think that's how it works.
I think it's still working.
Okay. Hello.
I can't hear you.
Don't hang up.
But you can hear me. So this is going to be awkward.
Yeah. There's an echo coming back through Greg's thing.
I have no idea what you're saying. Hopefully, you're saying nice things about me.
No, they're terrible. See, he knows to laugh because that's how I respond usually.
Problems. I love this.
We could fix this really simply. Hold on, guys.
Well,
1 second. I got this. Turn your video on and on. NDI source.
Sorry, what?
Turn your video on in Skype, and then I'll add you through NDI.
Instead of this other way?
Yeah.
Because then none of our sharing will work.
It'll work. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I think I still have the NDI stuff.
Except I can't because my video is in the other thing. So that won't work.
Hold on. 1 second. Technical. Hey, well, Greg's there. How's everybody?
I can hear. We could just.
But the problem is you're splashing my audio back to me, so they hear.
Oh, I could
double.
I could probably fix. I can fix that.
If you can fix it,
do you want me to fix that?
Yeah.
How about this? Does that fix it?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me now? Bouncing back, or just hear one source? On a scale of 1 to 10.
Hear you now.
Well, he broke his. So. That's great.
So if you can hear me and not fix it, I will see if I can.
Yeah.
Now, can you hear me?
I hear you. Yes.
Okay.
You hear me?
Yes.
Okay, we're good. Guys, we did it. Bingo.
I muted you and put you in my ears. It's weird.
Do you often hear voices in your head, or
is it just now I hear nothing because I closed Skype. I shouldn't have closed Skype.
Don't close Skype. We've been through this. Oh, I'm gonna get Raymond to drive down and slap you in the back of the head for closing Skype.
Okay, so what's weird? Yeah, I can hear you. You can hear me.
Yeah,
I think
fine.
We're all good.
Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, guys.
Now, can they hear me?
That's what I'm wondering. I mean, Dominic said bingo before you hung up Skype, so I'm thinking they can hear you, and that I don't have an echo and all as well. So if you guys can confirm all of those things, that'd be great. It does sound right. Greg,
Oh,
who?
yay. Thanks.
Hi, Helge. That's good. That's good. I like it.
All right.
So before we get too far into anything, and now that we've actually fixed stuff to work, I'm gonna push this button and thank these people. So thank you, Helge. At the top there's Tree Supports. Thanks everybody else on the list. You guys are really important to us.
Yeah. You make this technology problems possible. I mean,
no, you fix things for us eventually.
well,
But
yeah,
we'll
we'll have to troubleshoot a little more because we switched from the one way we did it last week to a slightly different way, and
we've used it before. It's just we're out of practice apparently.
We're really out of practice with this.
It's good though. I like a challenge on Sunday morning.
But we have lots of stuff, don't we, David?
We sure do. So
we got winners eventually today. We got their designs, and then we got some news. We got lots of stuff.
Well, like news is a strong word. But,
okay.
You know.
How about year in review?
That's the one, just like it says, year in review.
So are we going to do the contest winners at the end?
No, that's mean. That's terribly mean. So as you know, every year, for the last, I think, three or four, we do this little holiday giveaway thing sponsored by Spool 3D. Spool 3D's in Calgary, so they ship worldwide, and they're kind enough to sponsor us with a couple digital gift cards that you could use for anything your heart desires. And they have everything
that is sold by Spool 3D.
Yeah.
To clarify, it has to be sold by them. If your heart desires something else, sorry.
Right. Ray says that's good marketing to hold to the end of the show. Make everybody stay. Honestly, everybody that's here usually stays anyway, so it doesn't really, I remember, was it last year, Greg, or the year before? We had a bunch of people show up. Could we get in the contest? No. Did you enter?
Did you enter before the draw?
They didn't know that there was like a deadline, and you're like, this is awkward.
Yeah. See, that's what happens when you put all of the tags in the bottom, and one of them is contest.
Yeah, and then they're like,
and people try to get in right at the last minute. So
I do contests. So Greg has a thing for the contest winners. Do
you want me to switch? Do you want me to switch my screen?
No, you don't do anything.
We're gonna show off the stuff first.
Yeah, but don't worry about it, because look, that's my screen. That's Lofi Girl, everybody. Spoiler: this is Greg's. Why did your screen share go away? What did you do?
No, I'm still sharing.
Oh goodness. Oh, you stopped sharing. Never stop sharing.
I'm sharing.
He's back, guys. He's back.
I never stopped sharing.
Let's do this. I can see you on the thing.
Okay, so this is our first entry. It is a Christmas tree, and you can see in the bottom there has a spot for a tea light. This was submitted by Helge, and Helge is also one of our Patreon supporters. So it can be printed without supports, and if you do it, I'm guessing if you do it either with a single wall or, I don't know. Do you think it'd work in vase mode? I don't know if it would, because the way it holds it, but at least
maybe
one or two walls, depending on how transparent you want it, because you do put a tea light in it. So that one's cool, and then we've got the Merry Christmas Kiss My Butt. This is an entry from Mark T, and Mark entered it in, and there's a story behind it about his nephew, and his nephew wrote his dad a Christmas card and wrote "Keys My Butt" in the Christmas card. So
Yeah,
Uh,
the base mode don't work on that at all, Greg. I don't
okay.
recommend. No.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would think that you have to do 1 or 2 walls. All right, I'm gonna move this out of the way, and this is from Greg F. Greg F. just made a little ornament with a star on it, and yeah, and a little hanger to hang on the tree.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to print this one with supports, but yeah, there you go. So those are our 3 entries. So there's only 2 prizes. So I'm sorry to the one person that doesn't actually win the prize, but
How sorry are you on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'm very sorry. So I gotta stop. I gotta stop my share and reshare the other screen.
What? Don't.
So I'm gonna hit stop share.
See, he did hit stop share. We just heard the admission of guilt right
And I'm now sharing.
there. See, that's why he. Okay, it's
Okay.
just enabled.
So this is the official spin to win. And I will, you do the countdown and I will click.
Okay, now how big of a countdown and how long do we want to drag this out for suspense purposes?
Totally up to you.
Okay. Well, for suspense purposes, I think the appropriate timeline really would be 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
So the first winner is
Clearly Helge. Clearly.
looks like unless it ran Helge. Yay! You have won a $50 gift card from Spool 3D. We will send all your information over to Derek and get that. So I'm going to hit remove. So now we got a 50-50 chance.
We got a double spinner right here.
All right. So we'll have to have another drawn out countdown.
Okay, yeah. Like for this one, let's talk about how long War and Pieces, the book, right? So, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
All right. Oh!
Hey, so close. Mark T.
Mark T. Congratulations, Mark. We'll send your information over to Derek as well and whatnot. And sorry, Greg. Thanks for your entry. But you'll have another chance next year. So remember, I mean, how easy was that? There was 2 prizes and 3 people. I mean, just think, all you other people who are on the stream now could have entered, and your chances would have been. Really
I think I know why Raymond doesn't enter, but he probably could.
Unfortunately, yes. Yeah.
But no, thank you for entering. It's always a good contest. Next year we'll probably try to start a little earlier.
Okay, should we do a spin for the person who doesn't win?
Yeah, okay. Suspensefully though. Okay. So we have no idea who's gonna not win. This is so mean. This is so mean.
I'm sorry, Greg.
Oh man. If you spin again, can he win or is it the same as no, I'm just kidding. That's so mean. Oh guys, that's so mean.
We actually know Greg. He's a nice guy.
He's fine. It's good. Honorable mention. You got it, Dominic. Honorable mention. You know what? Greg can win this guitar pick. He will use it forever. No, I'm just kidding. He won't like
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing now.
That's fine. You can keep sharing, it's just not odd. So we have some winners. Great stream, Yay. Greg. So I will see you later. I hope everybody no?
No. I think we have a few more things we need to talk about.
Yeah. So you guys know that this is the last stream of this year. Last
scheduled official stream.
Yes.
If there are any other streams that we do, then they will just be
ad hoc
extra.
Yeah. So we thought it would be kind of neat to retroactively reflect on kind of like what happened this year for 3D printing, what you guys have done, what we've done in our
And
workshops, what tools we added, what's out there,
topics that we discussed over the year and
and
all that.
yeah, and like what was the new hotness, right? So that's that kind of thing. So
And this is in no particular order. To be clear, we're not going on
chronologically,
necessarily the chronological order of when they happened, but
we like you guys a lot, but I am not finding dates out. I'm telling you that
well,
right now.
we found some months that stuff happened, and we maybe re-reference that, but
Yeah,
yeah.
but so and then also, where are we going next year with printing now that we're where we are now? But
Should we start with the printers?
yeah, let's start out of order.
Well, I'm just wondering because
Well,
like
it's not out of order.
we
It's
didn't really
just
discuss an order officially, but
exactly since there's no order, let's start there. So
we
printers,
we don't have order, we have chaos.
we
So
have very much chaos. Um, so this year, one of the biggest trends, like printing wise, was everything started to become Core XY. Kinda, right? It's a huge deal this
there
year.
was a lot of Core XYs that came out, but not all of them are Core XYs on this
No,
list. But
no.
there was like so the roughly the first one that was announced and then finally started shipping. It was announced the previous year, and finally started shipping was the Prusa XL. So that one was announced like quite a bit before. Um, and I think it was at one either Murph or Earth or something that they kind of announced it, and then it took them a while to actually get it out the door. So that is one on our list. And then you have another Core XY, don't you, David?
Yeah, and I mean, so this other company, and you guys will be like, but like Bamboo Labs released like their Core XY system at the tail end of 2022, and it came in and people started receiving shipments in 2023. So I think it's a good like honorable mention for printers this year.
Yeah.
Lots of people think that it's from this year anyway, so we um might as well, say, hey, it came out this year. And then the other one, same maker, was
The
the
A1.
A1, and Helge
Yes.
mentioned that there. But yeah, so the A1 came out this year, and that's kind of like the smaller form factor,
Not Core
not
XY.
Core XY, but still has an AMS
It
printer.
it and it holds a special place in David's heart because it looks like the
Ender
the
2.
Ender 2.
Yeah.
And
One day I'm gonna get one of those.
I think you should get an A1 over an Ender 2. I'm just saying.
Probably. Probably, you're not wrong. And I mean, the other one that's kind of in the same series, but it did release much, much earlier than the A1 is the Prusa Mini as well. Like they're all kind of in
Well,
that
but
small.
Prusa Mini was way
That's
way.
what
That wasn't that was
that's
the
what I
year
said way
before.
before.
Yeah, but the MK4,
Mm-hmm.
that's the next revision of the original Prusa series, the MK4
Yeah.
of their standard printers that released in March.
And
Uh,
like the MK4, so like Prusa is really, really good at like, hey, let's iteratively design something, but it's gonna look the same, but you won't notice the changes because they're all under the hood, and that's what this printer
and you can
was.
buy a kit.
Yeah.
And for just not the full price of buying a whole new printer, you could upgrade your printer.
Yeah, and
Right.
that's not new to Prusa, but like it's definitely a good option for like those MK3 guys that want the extra features or
Or the
going back.
MK2
Yeah.
or the MK2S.
It's very, very
right.
easy to upgrade them. They're using like we've talked about before, they are using the i3 frame from the original open sourcing of 3D printing.
They've modified that over the years as well. Like
Well,
originally you had printed parts, and now they have all aluminum parts. So
yeah, but they're
as
still
as you
using the frame,
as
like the printed parts
the
are gone.
design, the design, yeah,
Right.
and then they've changed the bearings over time. They've changed the aluminum extrusion over time. Like so, they've slowly iterated it, but that was always in the kits to upgrade. So
Yeah, and that's what iterative design really means.
yeah,
And that's why we mentioned it at the beginning for the Prusa here. It's one of those
yeah,
things that, like, if you look at like the MK3 going into the MK4, you know, it's something we see from all manufacturers. But like the MK4 has the 32-bit boards now instead of like that custom Rambo. The drivers stayed relatively the same. It's interesting. That the Prusa MK4 uses Trinamic 2130s, where lots of like other printing manufacturers, Creality, and those guys use 2209s or 8s, right? So they're sticking, and I think you had some 21s, didn't you? 21 series drivers?
oh, a long time ago,
Yeah,
yeah, and they got so hot.
that was the
Oh
thing.
my god, you could like roast marshmallows. That's how hot they got.
You could melt through the case.
Yeah.
I guess the other big thing, if you want to call it a big thing, is the MK4, much like its Creality counter or competitors, I should say, not counterpart, but they went to like a full color kind of graphics display.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and then Prusa has always had like their build sheet that they iterate on too. Wi-Fi's in there. They just started adding all the features.
Ethernet. They added Ethernet, I think.
Let's see, USB. Yep, USB Ethernet is there.
Yeah.
And then the other thing they did was they were kind enough to charge you like $150 US more for the MK4. So every time they release a new printer, it usually bumps actually roughly 150 bucks in
But
there.
you've got inflation and whatnot, so
Mhm.
that's not too bad, really.
No,
So
it is fair. And then again, I mean, Prusa has all the snap-in stuff.
yeah,
So for their ecosystem, so you have multicolor if you want it.
yeah,
The Prusa Slicer's huge, so that's kind of like the Prusa's new printers that year. Though, so we had
yeah.
the Core XY, and an MK4. So
And
that's
then Creality,
hmm
we had a couple from them. So we had the K1, which came out roughly March timeline,
yep.
and it may have been announced then, but probably didn't ship until later. But that's their answer, shall we say? It's a Clipper native product that ships from Creality. That was like a Bamboo Labs kind of shot across the bow. We can do this too.
Pretty much, you're not wrong.
And I have not had a chance to work with the K1, so I don't know how wonderful it is and or isn't. I've watched a bunch of reviews and it looks pretty good. But again, it's just one of those new printers that is again Core XY and Clipper related. So anyone who wants to get into Clipper, I believe all of the Creality series with Clipper are, I think, they're trying to stick with the K moniker. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and I guess that's like Clipper's been around for a while, right, Greg? But like this year was the year that it has been taking off.
Yeah, well, I think even last year it did, with all the Vorons that went, exploded last year, right? Because most of them, I mean, it was optional, if whether you wanted to run Clipper or not, but Clipper was more practical on those than Marlin because you got full support for your CAN bus and whatnot, so you could have multiple controllers with and simplify the design. You didn't need like 38 stepper drivers to
Yeah.
run it all. You could run a 6 driver board and then a couple of CAN bus boards and do everything you need,
Yeah.
all controlled by Clipper. So
Yep.
so I think that's where. So but you
Mhm.
for retail products, I think this, I would say yes, this is a year
Yeah.
that Clipper kind of started shipping on
More.
mainstream that
Yeah.
weren't project build machines kind of thing.
Yeah, and the reason is that, like, the Core XY revolution, because that's what people did. You just put Clipper on your Core XY, works better. Ray just popped a comment in there. He has a K1 and a K1 Max, and they run well. He says you just have to, root them, which makes sense to unlock more features, is what he says. And the Creality's always been that way.
So
They don't have
so
every feature on. Yeah.
so with the Clipper version that ships with the units, I guess it doesn't have Ray, would you say it doesn't have the feature set of the more current versions of Clipper, and they're a few versions behind, or are there just features that they've just didn't even bother turning on, kind of thing, kind of like they did with Marlin?
Yeah,
Like
it's
they,
dumbed down a lot. Yeah. So
yeah,
they don't have like M600 usually on the old Marlin printers, right? So
yeah.
makes sense. Um, well, the other thing that didn't work with a lot of them, I don't know if it does, but Creality came out with that pad thing, the Creality pad, and at first it only worked with like a really slim subset of printers, and right, but
Right, and then they expanded that, right?
yeah.
So
And we have been seeing like more printer control this week. Yeah, the Sonic Pad, or
yeah.
this year, I should say. Big Tree Tech came out with one.
Yep.
Greg and I played with them. Like kind of in kit form. We bought some Pi screens and kind of played around to see what those would do too.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like Creality's biggest thing was really they iterated on the Ender 3 design again. So woohoo!
Yeah.
And then they also like we just mentioned, they brought Clipper in. I'm gonna throw an honorable mention in there for 2023 specifically, but it was beforehand. But Creality did come out with their Falcon 2 series of laser burners and etchers and cutters this year. So I think February was the release date for the Falcon 2, which
And isn't that the one you got?
yeah, I have the Falcon 222, and then they have a 40-watt one as well. And so that was kind of every manufacturer under the sun has an open platform for burning and etching, but this one specifically was an iterative design, came out this year, so that's why I'm mentioning it, because it came
Nice.
out this year.
Yeah.
So we kind of missed one. Well, we didn't miss it, but we mentioned the Prusa MK4, but we didn't mention that one of the bigger features that was added to the Prusa ecosystem on the MK4 was the input shaping.
Well, yeah, that was kind of controversial at first because they released it and told us about it, and then it didn't actually come out until quite a bit later in the year. It was I think it only really went live, I want to say September, with the input shaping, but it is now part of the firmware where you can now have input shaping. So that's something that I think is another big thing that Marlin added as well, and everyone has their own flavor of input shaping now, whether it's through Clipper or Prusa firmware or Marlin now. So yeah, that's another one to help improve our lives, shall we say.
Add it to the list. Yep. And then for Greg and I specifically, and everybody up north, there was a bill introduced that kind of changed the landscape of YouTube in Canada. We talked about it a little bit. It was called Bill C11, and basically it means that they have to provide Canadian content first in Canada, on YouTube. So like all the stuff you see on your opening page and that. And the reason it affects us is because the counter to that offer was, okay, fine, we'll do it, but we're not going to show you like first in Germany then if we have to like only show
Right.
Canadian content here, right? So
Now,
thankfully we don't use this for a living.
now, is that the same bill that they had that YouTube just signed an agreement for linking and whatnot too, or is that a
No, that's
different
a
one?
separate bill. So
Okay.
yeah, in Canada there was a bill that said they passed a bill for the media companies that they had to pay news sources directly for the media that they linked out of there.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's
So
it's
so
a
so
gray
for
area
example,
for Google, but
there is no news on any Facebook product.
no, none.
Like you cannot get news links, but now any of the Google products, they have now allowed linking. So
Mhm.
they're paying them so much a year, so that
I think it was
in
like
your
100 million or something. Was
yeah, it
the
goes into a fund and then gets divvied
yeah,
out or something.
yeah.
So yeah, so
And I
so
mean,
we've had a lot of political stuff this year that affects Canadian content all around. Not just creators, but also news outlets and everything. So it's been an interesting year.
and I think like many of new laws and bills in other countries, it sets precedents for um others that would follow in suit. They could be like, well, this country's doing it and it works, and here's the law, right? Like, what is it,
Yeah,
GRPD? That's a big one that people always model for privacy, safety, and
right.
stuff online.
Yeah. Well, let's
Politics
go.
ruins everything. You
Let's
are
go
right.
from politics to another controversial one.
I love it.
A, AI.
Yeah. So this year, actually, Greg missed one of the streams this year, and I'm not saying that is a bad thing, by the way, but there was a stream that we were doing that I made ChatGPT write firmware for us in Marlin.
Nice.
So like, uh, it did it just fine. Most of it was correct, but this is the year, Greg. Of It's been
Well,
around, but this was the
well. Now we have multiple companies coming out with multiple products, and now they have plugins and add-ons, and so I think 2024 is going to be the year that we see more foray into uh, putting either AI tools available to, whether it's like in design software like Fusion or some
Mhm.
other of the CAD products, to possibly integration into slicing some sort of AI and analytics to, you know, we had the big move ahead when they changed the slicing engines, right? Well, maybe we're going to see some of that. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how things progress with all these tools,
Right.
because we're going beyond large language models now to other things. Large language models were the like, oh, this is awesome, look what it does, but there's more to it than that. And right now I think all the focus was on that, and I think we're going to see more because there's multiple other types of AI models out there that are now kind of becoming more progressive, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, is it so like and Dominic just said it, like AI is coming, it's here. Is it gonna take jobs? I don't know. I doubt it. It's not designed that
No,
way.
well,
But
okay, so it's just like everything over the years, right? So there are more jobs than there were when we had the horse and buggy, and the automotive industry didn't kill like the horse and buggy. There's actually more horses now than there were back in the 1900s, but then now they're used in a different way. So it's one of those things, and there's more jobs that need to be made under AI tools and whatnot. You're just going to be a little more efficient or do different things. So I don't think it totally kills anyone's jobs. It just kind of evolves.
yeah, it'll change it a bit. The other thing is and this always has made me a little irked, shall we say. Um, like, not everything that claims it's AI is AI.
No,
So this was the year of AI buzzwording as well.
right?
So
Well,
anything that
do
uses
you
like a
remember what
script language,
do you remember what last year's buzzword was?
no.
Because every year there's always a buzzword that and I don't remember it, like, but they were putting it in everything, right? Like, doesn't matter what you bought, the buzzword always gets added to every product out there because everyone doesn't want to miss the bandwagon, right? So they add it in. Do you guys remember what last year's buzzword was? Because I'm trying to. It wasn't AI. AI was just in its infancy, but they were using it in everything. I can't remember what it was, but it's AI is going to drop off too because we've been using AI tools and whatnot for years. It's just that I think the large language models really kind of spear nosed it to the front of the pack, right?
Yeah.
So,
But
but yeah,
the
quantum. There you go.
quantum was kind of this year too.
Quantum. Yeah, quantum is one. There's a whole bunch. A lot of computer companies are using it, and I'm blanking on what it was.
I have no idea. But like this year, almost everybody and their dog was like, "Look, I have this AI coffee pot or AI car," and
Oh,
it's
smart, right? Everything was smart. You got smart lights and home automations and smart this, smart that, right?
yeah.
They were adding smart to everything, right? Like you got your smart lights and you got your smart home automation here and smart this and whatnot. So
And I think like the trap with AI this year is like there is true AI like that's coming Cortana or not Cortana, the Windows Copilot
right.
is out. They started launching that in Visual Studio, and VS Code is getting a plugin for AI. Like, but
Oh,
we
they
also have
yeah.
printers out there that are like, and we've had this for a while. So like the Spaghetti Detective plugin in Raspberry Pi's Octoprint for like just watching the
Yeah,
camera.
yeah.
They call it AI. Um, I would think it's more of a script, but true AI is something that is here, and
Oh,
we
I
do have printers that like
there's printed.
printers already claim they have AI. Like Anchor's new one says AI on it, but again, AI, it stands for artificial intelligence. Spoiler alert. So if if the thing that is using AI is literally just using binary operation to evaluate something, that's not AI. That's a script,
Yeah,
right? That's
yeah,
some programmatical, not a learned language model or a generative. It's literally a script. So
yeah.
like, I mean, there are features
It's
that are AI out there,
oh,
but
absolutely.
it's yeah,
But and AI isn't the end of anything. It's just
yeah.
a new iteration. And like Hilge was saying, and a few other people, um, when smart came out, it didn't make us dumber. It made some of our switches and stuff in our houses stupid to work with.
Yeah,
But it
who
didn't make
was
it
really
didn't
the
make
smart one in this relationship, right?
right, like I'm sorry, but those the I still want to be able to walk in a room and flip a switch. It could be smart to know that the switch is on or off, but I still want to be able to do that, right? Like, um, because when all is said and done, if the internet goes down and whatnot, and you still have power, I still want to be able to turn on my light,
One, I mean, we saw that switch and like all like so I have a plethora of smart lights and the switch works fine for them. Just flip it and they're on.
right? Exactly.
The like all the smart plugs we have for our printers, right? I'm sure everybody here has a smart plug on their printer or near it, right, to turn it on and off, and they have the little buttons on the side now, right?
Yep. Yep.
But the first release of smart, you're right. Like my smart thermostat stops my furnace from working half the time. So is that really that smart? Sounds like a
Yeah.
bad idea. My washing machines, it says AI controlled. Amazing, right?
Right.
AI controlled washing
Yeah. And
machines.
mine has said that for years, and
Yeah.
apparently you hold your smartphone to it and it'll diagnose it, which doesn't work.
And I did it with my fridge once, and it goes, "Bloop, bloop, bloop, bloop," and then it hears the sound, and then it's like, this is what's wrong, and she's nothing because my fridge is fine. But it's 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 a buzzword for now. Is it gonna take her jobs? It will change our jobs.
Or
Right.
enhance what we do.
It won't take
And
them.
no.
Right. So I mean, phew.
Well, some people might think they can fire people and just replace stuff, and then they're slowly going to realize, oh, wait a minute, we need someone to run the AI.
Yeah.
Whoa, and make smart decisions about using it, and oh, we need 3 more people.
Now
Right?
we
So
could end up in a like a Terminator-esque future where the AI builds itself bot. No, I'm kidding. That's no.
no,
I
no,
I
no,
don't think so. I mean,
no.
and Isaac Asimov covered all of that stuff real good. No, I'm just kidding too. That's science fiction, guys. It's just scenario. The
Well,
other,
all our 3D printers will rise up,
yeah,
and
you're gonna you're gonna be sleeping, right? And then they'll be like, "Hello, Greg." You're like,
I
ah.
I have replicated legs for myself.
I can now walk. It's like the Rick and Morty where he makes the dog too smart for its own good. Um, the problem with smart devices is there's no standard. Every company comes up with its own protocol, needs the standard like TCP/IP to get everything working. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
right. There's no
Yeah.
standard. It's the
Well,
Wild West.
and I think that's going to all straighten itself out. Like it's interesting to see what the trends are. Sometimes the trends, people jump on the trends, and it's just that. It's like you shake your head and it's like, okay, well, cool, but that's not going to work for me, kind of thing. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
To move on to another topic, we 2023 was the year of thievery.
Yeah, there was lots there was lots of stuff. Now whether it's people who are stealing printables and making it into Maker World,
Oops.
or whatnot. So there's lots of other things that were out there, and people were trying to, lots of controversy about people stealing other people's stuff. So
Yeah, and like it's not just like lots of it was IP, right?
Yep.
So lots of intellectual property was stolen, right? And we've seen that for a long time with 3D models. Somebody will make something and then it's like, don't share this, it's $20. Somebody buys it and then launches it on Thingiverse. We've seen that, but like this is this year has been blatant with the issues from Anycubic, and like we mentioned, the Prusa thievery, right?
Yep.
It's just one of those things that unfortunately in our world of making, you can never really 100% protect. You'll never 100% protect what you make and post it as soon as,
Yeah.
it's what they said back in the late 90s, early 2000s. As soon as something's on the internet, it's gone.
It's out there.
And it's so true. It's so true. Like you can go to the Wayback Machine and see that fact, right? So we got,
I mean,
companies be able to talk
it
open
evolves. Yeah.
So we got a comment here. Should companies be able to talk open source code be able to make a small change and close the open source? Absolutely not, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's,
I don't agree with that either.
and it's written in most of the, so like some things still follow the GNU model, but like
Right.
you can use open source in your project, but that open source has to stay open.
Yeah,
You can
you always
close all
have
the
to.
other stuff, but that has
Yeah,
to stay open.
yeah. If you make something proprietary and whatnot, that's fine, but you cannot take open source and then reclose it and try to claim it as your own, as a private design that you've made and whatnot. Like
Yeah.
that's no.
Yeah. And Dominic has another example, and I've heard of this one too. I think it was a company in Britain that stole almost all of TH3D's help guides and posted it on their website without actually changing anything. And like the correct way to do that is to go, if you guys need help with stuff, follow this link that goes to
And
his
link back
site,
to their
right?
site, yeah.
And
So
then
they
that,
get credit for it.
right? Like,
Yeah.
and open source was never meant to be like a gatekeeper or an excuse. Either way you look at it, for
Or
doing whatever you want.
a shortcut in
Yeah.
development. It was kind of shortcut in development, but as long as you kept it open source and you contributed to it.
Yeah.
It's not a shortcut to developing closed source stuff. And so that's what people need to make sure that they if they really want to reverse engineer and develop something that's similar to something else, they've actually got to put in the effort, right?
Yeah.
They can't just try to steal something off of it. And more we're using common libraries and whatnot to enhance our product because someone's already done all the work and it's already vetted.
Yeah.
Right. So
And the thing is like you don't have to reinvent the wheel. But you do have to be careful how you use the invention. For example, like trademarking is a huge thing with what we do. And like right now, Facebook swap and buys and other public forums are full of people that have 3D printers selling tchotchkes such as like Mario's and those things that they don't own.
They don't own the rights to.
You will get in very much trouble if Nintendo one day was like, I see what you're doing there. And they're a company that would. They are a company that would.
It's one thing to offer a printing service for people who don't have a printer. It's another thing for someone to print a whole bunch of stuff from Thingiverse and resell it. That breaks the terms of service right there. And I don't think people take it serious enough. Certain people, they just like, oh yeah, I can just do this. And
there's
no, you gotta consider someone put a lot of work into that design or whatever it is, and you're now just reaping the benefits and profiting potentially from someone else's work, and that's not right.
That's no bueno right there. It's something that like we deal with all the time. It's and the struggle is real, especially like in lots of workplaces. You have to explain to people why they can't slap that book on a photocopier and just like copy the whole thing and then hand it out.
But and then they'll say, oh, but we're schools, we're allowed to.
Well, not even schools. Legal does it all the time. I've seen accountants do it, right? Like it's everybody thinks it's cool, and it's like no. And I saw the word moral, and that's just it. Like we've had ethical issues recently that are just egregious that you wouldn't think would even go through somebody's head to do,
right?
But then they do it anyway, and that's the same thing like with these, like specifically with that TH3D theft. That was lazy. They downloaded the whole site with the scraper and boom, it's ours. So there's one more thing that came out this year before we end the stream, and it just came out. We talk about it. We love it. It's the Raspberry Pi 5.
Yes, finally, and seems like the supply constraints are finally, hopefully, behind us, You can now even get the 4s and whatnot available in stores, and the 5s are there as well. So I also think their redesign of the Pi, which has no through hole pieces anymore,
Yeah.
has increased, because they had to actually, if you've watched any of the videos out there on how they manufacture the Pis, the old ones, even the 3s and the 4s, there was certain human interaction that had to happen on the
Hmm.
assembly line, and so
Yeah.
now they've reduced that um, quite a bit. So hopefully that'll increase their throughput,
Hmm.
and all of us can benefit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I think next year, what I look forward to, so we've done this year, but what's next year? And there are several printers coming out there, and Dominic mentions the Voron Phoenix, and I look forward to more projects, and I believe they're coming, like the Voron open platforms, that you can just download and build yourself. I think that's going to be a huge thing. We saw like other
I think
tinkering things take
we're
off.
gonna more CAN bus type stuff, maybe even an evolution from CAN bus. Right now, CAN bus is more than fast enough to do
Yeah.
most of the stuff we need.
Yep.
But who knows? Maybe they'll come up with something faster in CAN bus, like maybe a small Ethernet type
Yep.
system or something. But really, the bandwidth we don't need. I don't think we need that much bandwidth.
No, I don't
CAN
think
bus
you
should.
do.
CAN bus is like 256 or 512 kilobit.
Yep.
So somewhere in that range,
Yep.
which I think is more than enough for signaling from a
Mm.
Raspberry Pi to a tool head or whatever
Yep.
else, with very low latency, right?
Yeah. And I can see also like we're getting closer to it, and I think maybe next year might be the year to some better home options for sintering.
hmm
We're getting, like I said, we're getting really close in price and all that stuff, so it could happen. I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
Hopeful.
Well, the other thing on the list was more and more types of recycling to make
Hmm.
materials, right?
Yeah.
The PET bottle became more popular, where you slice it up with a little razor
Yep. Unless,
and make filament. And
yeah,
then CNC Kitchen took all his bamboo poop
yeah, and made,
and made it into filament and whatnot. That was actually quite
yeah,
an interesting video. So filament recyclers have gotten to the point where you can actually get a decent recycled filament. So that means you have to make sure that you're not mixing your types of filament when you're putting them into, or you need 3 boxes, PETG, PLA, and ABS kind of thing. You need to separate them out. So.
yeah. I think that moving forward, we need to be more sustainable with printing, because, like, real talk here, it's not as sustainable as people sold it like 5 years ago. As like, you're still using plastics. You got there. We need a way to reuse those plastics, for a sustainable option. But it's not bad. We're not bad. Lots of my stuff, I try to do without support, and it's very, very specific, built for a thing that I need it to work for, which means it's being used all the time. So it's, again, like, I think we need kind of that attitude. The Pi 5 isn't that expensive. To
It,
answer the
it
question, it's like,
so $84 Canadian for the 4 gig.
right, and it was $60 American. So like, it's not that expensive.
Now a
How's
Raspberry Pi 4. I will look that up. You can continue with
How's
your
says
questions.
think Tell says a lot of new stuff coming this year from Bamboo has delivered. So let's see how that affects it for sure. Bamboo did have a lot of innovation in how to deliver a printer, and I think we'll see that kind of flow through. This year, actually, we saw manufacturers like Creality simplify things. Like the Ender 3, for example, used to come in kit form. And with the V2 Neo and forward, it's 4 screws in the bottom and you're printing. So printer manufacturers recognize that to go to market and get lots of buy-in, they needed to simplify the process of actually building the frames and the
Yep.
printers, and that's kind of what we've seen there. So it'll be interesting. I'm gonna push the button,
All
Greg,
right.
to do the
Push the
thing,
button.
and now you go ahead and talk about the button.
All right. Well, thanks to all these wonderful people, Helge at the top, and everybody else on this list. If you want to join our community, you can join us. Go to patreon.com/3dmakeit, and you can join us there. We have a variety of tiers, and whichever tier you join, you also get a Discord, which is our awesome community where you can chat, post. Things that you want us to talk about, just ask us questions and whatnot. So we really love the community. It's awesome. And then we do our monthly live stream with our Patreon. So we'll have another one in January. We had our December one, so we'll have one in January, and then we try to do some exclusive things now and then too, just for our patrons. So yeah, thanks to all those people. It's awesome.
If you're interested, it's patreon.com/3dmakeit, or you can find all the information at www.3dmakeit.ca. So
yes,
that's my website pitch voice. You know, the guy at the end of the commercial voice. Now Greg's looking something up, but while he does that, I'm gonna just say a few things. One, again, this is the last official stream, so I want to thank you for a wonderful 2023, guys. It's been a heck of a ride this year. Lots of new tools, lots of new fun. I look forward to next year, which is going to be exciting, I'm sure, with all the new product. Remember to check out them Boxing Day sales if that's something that's near you for some cheap wares and goods. And add to your little tool shop. So thank you so much for riding out 2023 with us.
So in comparison, a 4 gig Raspberry Pi 4 is $76.95 Canadian. And a Raspberry Pi 4 1 gig board is $48.95. Raspberry Pi 5 boards, let me just see if I can find just the 5 boards separate. I don't see the, and they have a separate category for 5. So let me just look at that. It looks like they don't. So they have 2 models, the 4 and the 8 gig in the Raspberry Pi 5. So it's $83 and $112 kind of thing, Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not that much more, or they're about equal to the Raspberry Pi 4. You just get a different feature set, and then they also rearrange the USB ports and Ethernet port. So you get quite a few larger features and whatnot. They have a battery backup now. They've got they have the they've added the PCIe bus to it, so you can actually put expansion cards and whatnot on them. You can put actual NVMe hard drives. You can do a lot of cool stuff with it. They have 2 camera connectors, which can be used either for camera or other features. We discussed this quite a bit. So I don't think it's cost prohibitive with the 5, but you'd have to have a specific reason to get the 5. I think you need the extra performance or the extra features. I think the 4 for us in 3D printing is way more than adequate, because the 3B still works really well for like your Raspberry Pis and Clipper and Octoprint and whatnot. So I don't know what your opinion is on that, David.
Well, we had a whole stream on it. I don't need to go any further into them. It's good. Buy it.
Yeah. And the availability is a lot better than it was. So
yeah. But yeah, so top of the hour. Again, thank you. Make sure you take some time to spend with your friends and loved ones this couple weeks coming
And
up here.
hopefully you get some cool printing paraphernalia for your printers this season.
If you don't, just buy it yourself. No, I'm just kidding. All right, friends. Until next year, have a good one.
Bye.